Good, good evening. Yep.
My name is Arnold, and my fellow interviewer is Raya. And today, the two of us want to ask you a couple of questions. Now, let's get started. First question is, why were you interested in helping the environment?
Why? That's a big question. Why am I interested in helping the environment? Well, as the short answer is because it matters. Because it's important that we leave a clean environment for the future. It's important that we begin to think about our impact on the environment and how it affects the whole ecology of the earth, the plants, the birds, the fish, the insects, the animals. Everything's affected by our abuse of this environment. So it's about time that we all become more conscious that what we do every day has an effect on what will happen to this planet.
Wow, that was good information. I have another question.
Please.
What influenced you to start the pickups?
What influence? Well, I've been wanting to try to do something for a long time. Living here in Kisumu, you can see uh, a lot of waste going into the lake. You see it if you go to any of the fishing villages, fishing beaches, anywhere around. You will see everyone just dumping everything into the water or into the outside their house, which eventually ends up in the water. Basically, in this whole region, everything flows into this lake. So even if you're 50 kilometers away or 100 kilometers away and you throw some trash outside your door, it will find its way into a river, and that river will eventually flow into the lake, and that's where the trash will be. So it's obviously a major problem. If you go to, as I was saying, you go to the fishing villages or the beaches where there's populations living around the lake, you'll see so much trash just being thrown in. Uh, and one of the biggest issues that I see is that people are just not aware that it's not the right thing to do. It would appear that no one's ever been told that actually, guys, please don't throw this trash into the lake. So that's why I started with these cleanups to try to start to educate, particularly young people, on the impact of it and how it matters. Yeah.
Next question is that when did you start organizing these cleanups?
When I'd say about 8 9 months ago, I got involved with this project called the Flip Floppy project. This was the plastic boat that was built in Lamu, and it's friends of mine who started this project. And I got involved with it. Sorry, someone's trying to call me. Um, so once I got involved with the Flip Floppy project, that was impetus for me to now start to do my projects here locally, because they gave me a lot of encouragement, and it was leading up to now starting a whole movement about creating this consciousness about keeping the environment clean.
Hey, wow. What are some challenges that you faced? Because
Sorry,
it's hard to educate. What are some challenges that you faced? Because it's hard for you to start something because young people aren't really interested in helping. So what are some challenges that you had faced?
well, I think the challenge is try to change the mindset of the people around. It's just never been communicated to them, or it's just not been taught in the schools, or no one's ever told people here, guys, don't throw trash out of the car, don't throw trash into the lake, don't throw trash everywhere around. It's just never been communicated to them. So that's the challenge. How do we now start to change that mindset that that's actually wrong? Um, it's a very, I see it as a just a failure of a very very simple idea of just getting people conscious about the fact that what they do with their trash has an impact on the environment, and no one's ever told them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. Who are
Sure.
the people you worked with this trash picking thing?
Well, you know, this since we started, we found that there are several like-minded people around who are interested in similar projects. Uh, there's some schools who've come aboard. As I said earlier, we're trying to work with young people, and we found that actually they are young environmentalists who are around in Kisumu who are really taking it upon themselves to start to create this movement of becoming conservationists. And it was surprising when we started, when I started with this, that I found that young people today actually are more woke, that they have more information, they are getting very conscious because they have access to information, and they're realizing that the future which they're getting into is impacted by actions of the people today, and they're sort of trying to lead the way and saying, yeah, we need to do this, we need to change the way we think, and as a young generation, in order to make a difference.
Okay, so I noticed that you said something about some schools that were also joined in the project. So are those the people that funded like your pickups, or
No,
did you
no,
not have any fundings?
no. The funding, we got a little bit of funding from the parent organization, which is Flip Floppy, but the rest is no, it's our initiative. And we do it all on by ourselves. Um, we worked with one organization recently because we've been doing these cleanups, and we encourage uh, whoever wants to next month. Why don't you organize it, and we'll come and join you, and we'll come and help, and we'll spread the word through our social media and through our networks so that people can turn up to do this. And so it was quite funny for me because these guys came up with a budget, and they wanted something like 600,000 shillings for a morning's cleanup. And I was like, guys, are you crazy? How do you make that kind of thing sustainable? Uh, right. So actually, the cost of doing a cleanup, the way we've done cleanups is not more than 20 or 30,000 shillings, including like refreshments and a mandazi for everybody. The costs are, we have some rakes, so we use our rakes. We bring bin bags, we bring gloves, we bring some masks for people who don't have it, and that's it. Bring your boots, bring whatever you have, get on your hands and knees or whatever it is, and pick up trash. That's it. There's nothing fancy about it. It shouldn't cost money. We threw in some drinks and some mandazi after that, and that's it. But the cost, it shouldn't be something that's exaggerated. Or it's not an event we're doing here. It's just getting people on the ground to pick up some trash, and that's it.
Another question is that have you ever had like any different project that has either helped spread awareness or like helped the environment? Have you had any other
Yeah,
project?
projects, yeah, they are. I mean, as we've worked in this for all these months, there are many people around the lake. I've been focusing a lot in Kisumu, then it was Homam Bay, Rusinga, and Bita. And yes, there are people there who are now also trying to do their own cleanups and trying to lead the way and creating this awareness, and are also pretty pretty excited and pretty motivated to do this, and so that's encouraging.
Okay, so to the people who aren't very educated on these types of things to save the earth, what do you have to tell them to encourage them?
Yeah, like the ones who are not very conscious about it. Well, what we tell them is look at the way you were living 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago when you grew up, and look at how you're living now. 'Cause my focus is a lot on the lake because I was born here and I love this lake, and I want to try to find a way to conserve it. And so, if I talk to the people living around the lake, I say, remember how many fish you used to catch. Remember that the water used to be clean. You used to just drink this water. Remember there was not so much disease, uh, and all these kind of things. So this is what I try to bring to their attention, that within their lifetime, they can very, very clearly, visibly see the change, and that should make them now think about how their actions have impacted the environment.
Wow, I have learned, and thank you so much for coming. I have enjoyed this interview. I hope we haven't disturbed you a lot. And yeah, thank you for coming.